This is UMAR for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're here, huge announcement today. Obviously, it was made official on Friday. We've got a press conference today for Lomachenko Campbell. How excited are you to have Loma boxing on Sky?
Of course, we're hugely excited. In my opinion, Vasily Lomachenko is the greatest fighter of this generation. He's only had 14 fights, remember, as a pro. What did he have? 396 as an amateur and lost one. I mean, he's an incredible ring athlete, technician. Beautiful to watch, wonderful craftsman, hand speed. He's got everything, and yeah, I really like him. You know, I'm always sort of keen to know who the great fighters of generations are. You know, Sugar Ray Leonard when I was growing up. I was a big Tommy Hearns fan, but Leonard was just skill-wise on another level. And then you look at Floyd Mayweather, and I think Lomachenko of these times is right up there, and there's a long way to go with him. So it's really special having him over performing in London. It's a great attraction, but also let's not forget Luke Campbell, because it's 2 Olympic gold medalists going head to head. You know, Luke's known him for a long time. He's obviously was a brilliant amateur himself. He's not quite achieved what we thought he would as a pro, but listen, he pushed Jorge Linares really hard when we were out in LA, and arguably was a round or two away from winning that fight. He had personal problems around the time. He's got a great relationship now with Shane McGuigan, and there's a lot of buzz around that stable. So Luke will give it absolutely everything, and I think he'll really push Loma. But, Loma's special, and it's just fantastic having him over. It's a delight to be involved, and I think the end of August will be something really, really spectacular.
Always special to get pound-for-pound stars over here. Obviously, we had Golovkin, Brook, Linares has been here, Terence Crawford's been here, but Loma just brings something else, doesn't he?
I think he's better. I really do. I think Golovkin was a great middleweight and, ruled for so long and is still obviously very, very dangerous out there. But Lomachenko's a different type of fighter. You know, he's a connoisseur's favourite. He's just a beautiful sort of, ring technician, and I love watching him. You know, what he did to Anthony Crolla was punch perfect, and you worried for Anthony going in, and you knew how tough he was. But Anthony won a world title. He's a world-class fighter, and Loma just made him look like he was a raw novice. And I just think he's exceptional. I was there for his professional debut when he fought Ramirez, and I just felt it was the beginning of a journey which was just going to end up with him being not only pound for pound the best now, but one of the greats in the Hall of Fame. So there's a long way to go, but 3-weight champion in 14 fights is not a bad start.
Not bad at all. There was no secret this fight was going to happen. There was a bit of delay in the announcement. Did Eddie tell you what sort of the reason was for that?
No, I don't think so. I think we all thought it was going to happen the end of August, and we've sort of been behind the scenes preparing for that. Obviously, it's difficult for us a little bit to have a Sky Sports box office event in August, because it's traditionally the month where my team take a bit of downtime. The rest of the year is just so frenetic that August tends to be a quieter month. We had the Mayweather-McGregor fight in August, and people had to change things around, but that's what you do. You take your holidays around it, and listen, it's a fight that's got my whole team buzzing, so everyone wants to be involved, and I think it'll be a fantastic sort of start to the new sort of traditional season, which kicks off in September, and it's great because the Premier League will be up and running, and I know we've got a big game on the day of the fight, so the key is to make sure that Loma is known in the casual market as well as the boxing trade. Everybody knows how good he is, and everyone wants to see him who's a boxing fan. We just got to sort of get into the football fans as well and realise how special he is.
Thank you, Scott. We didn't catch up with you after Whyte-Rivas. Reflections on the whole card as a whole?
Yeah, it's a good night. Really enjoyed it. I always thought it was going to be a good card on paper, one of the best that Matchroom have put together. And yeah, look, as always, sometimes it doesn't quite work out as you think. I thought Derek Chisora would have a long, hard fight against Artur Spilka. I thought Riakporhe and Dylan Smith would be a bit more exciting. Dillian's fight was brutal and tough, and he was so aggressive, Rivas. But I thought Dillian boxed really well at times. I thought he boxed really cleverly and behind the jab. And as for David Price, it was a rolling back the years performance. It was brilliant. You felt for David Allen, and maybe it was a case of levels, but you felt for him after the last year he's had, and it's been a great story, and the momentum really was with him. But he was up against somebody who technically was always going to have big advantages, and the fact was, could David hold himself mentally together? And I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And I think, for me, obviously Dillian winning was great. He's the mandatory challenger now, and you know, another big win for him. And Derek Chisora, you know, not only knocking out Spilker in a couple of rounds, but leading the whole sort of music celebration before the opening bell of Whyte was fantastic, you know. But Chisora and Whyte, great, you know, the heavyweights moved forward. But for David Price, it was a case of no, I was pleased for Price. You know, he's been through a lot and he's had a lot of criticism, and I thought that was a big win for him. And yeah, delighted. So yeah, it was a really good night, and the Aziz fight was good at the beginning, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah. In terms of pay-per-view sales, in terms of tracking numbers, all gone as expected.
I think it's a decent number. I mean, we'll obviously, things haven't come through yet. We won't, you know, announce that, but we're happy. Yeah, Dillian Whyte always provides a lot of entertainment, and you know, it's Oscar Rivas wasn't as big a name as Derek Chisora or Joseph Parker, but the card was great. So I hope fight fans really enjoyed it. I thought it was a top to bottom a really good show, and we move on. And in 6 weeks' time, we got Loma.
We did actually have another pay-per-view that night in the UK. Obviously, ITV. Put on Pacquiao Thurman. Did you manage to watch it?
I did. I saw Pacquiao Thurman. I was very impressed with Manny. You know, he's just time stands still for him sometimes, doesn't it? You know, he's still got that hand speed. He's got, what I love about Manny Pacquiao is that he wants to win so badly. You know, he took centre ring on a number of the rounds, and just, you know, he was just too, in my opinion. I mean, you know, I know it was close on the cards and split, but I thought Pacquiao won comfortably. I thought it was a great performance. I really fancied Thurman to give him a real argument beforehand, but you know, Keith was tough, but Manny was just a step ahead, and you know, I thought he boxed really well, and it's going to bring the Mayweather fight back on the table. I know Amir thinks he's got a match-up in Dubai. Maybe that will happen, but it's going to bring Mayweather Pacquiao 2 back together, isn't it? I think.
Just going to come on to that, yeah. Amir Khan said he'll be fighting Manny Pacquiao in Riyadh on November the 6th. But Eddie thinks, and I think most people think, Manny will fight the winner of Spence Porter, keep the belts in the PBC, and that kind of frees Amir up. Surely we can kind of push for the Kell Brook fight for one last time now, Adam?
Listen, I've been pushing for the Kell Brook fight for the last 5-6 years. A couple of chances when Amir went to fight Canelo. I thought it was nearly made there. Then again recently in the last few months. I don't know. Does he really want it? What's Kell doing? He's been so quiet. I'd love to see it still happen. Yeah, who knows? Manny's got choices. You know, he could fight, as I say, Errol Spence and Sean Porter's a great fight. He could fight the winner of that. He could fight Amir, but of course, if Mayweather comes knocking, he's going to fight Mayweather again. So Pacquiao, at his age and at his stage, has unbelievably got huge choices out there, and people just want to see him still. And you know, he's a phenomenon. He's been an amazing fighter of our generation. And while Mayweather, for me, was the better technically, I think Pacquiao has been as exciting and as dramatic, and it's been a great story, and the best thing is it's not quite over.
Have you asked Eddie about Kell Brook at all?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Kell Brook every now and again. You know, we need him in a big fight. I mean, he hasn't had a fight since the end of last year. He didn't shine that night. You know, Amir's obviously had a couple. He's had the Crawford fight, and last time against Billy Dib, which obviously he was always going to win that. But look, we want to try and make that fight, and let's hope it happens. You know, maybe it's a chance of getting back onto Kell and back onto Amir and seeing if we've got one more chance at it, because otherwise it's just going to be one of those ones like Hatton and Witter that never materialises, and that's a real shame. You know, it's late in the day, but I'd like to see it happen still.
A couple of more things. How confident are you that AJ Ruiz lands in Cardiff?
Really confident. I push extremely hard. I think it makes all the sense in the world to have it in the UK. I think it gives AJ a better standpoint going into the rematch. Maybe it's a psychological edge, but to have it in the UK in front of 80,000-90,000 is always going to be a bonus. To have Andy Ruiz coming over to the backyard here. Yeah, I understand the story of going back to New York and sort of where it happened and trying to exact revenge in the very arena. But for us, obviously, we prefer it at 10, 11 o'clock at night in the UK. And for AJ, I think it's the most important thing that he fights here. I think he has to win this fight. It's a tough fight. You know, I don't agree with my great friend Johnny Nelson, who says that it's 1,000% that AJ wins this fight. It's not even 100%. It's not. Yes, he probably will win it, and he probably should win it if he sticks to his technical advantages. And he got it wrong in the Garden, he got it badly wrong. But Andy Ruiz beat him, and he'll be very confident he could beat him again. So it's a really, really tough fight. And as I said, it's a fight AJ really has to come through and really has to look good in. And I think if that happens in the UK, that gives him the edge that maybe is needed. I mean, obviously there's a long way to go. There's a lot of training to do between now and then. But I think for us and for him, the UK makes sense. So fingers crossed that's what will happen. I push really hard, but it's not ultimately my decision.
Okay, and just lastly, coming on to Johnny Nelson, he picked Szpilka to beat Chisora. Obviously, Chisora destroyed Szpilka in a couple of rounds. Have you spoken to Johnny about that?
I'm still sort of frothing with him about the 1,000% because I just don't understand that. But there we go. No, Johnny, listen, if he thought. We all thought Szpilka might give Derek Chisora some trouble. Tony Belliew's a really good friend of Derek Chisora's, and he didn't like the fight because Szpilka's a southpaw. And I think we were looking back to what he was like when he fought Deontay Wilder those first 6-7 rounds. But he's had a very patchy road since then. I'd heard reports that he wasn't looking great out in Poland. But look, let's take nothing away from Derek. It was a terrific performance. He grabbed the bull by the horns. He took it from the opening bell. He was aggressive. He found the right hands that finished it on the ropes, and it was dramatic. And fighters can get caught cold. Szpilka has been beaten twice by stoppage before, but this was the quickest one. And I think we should more look about Derek and what a great story he is, continuing to sort of surprise us. And I hope to see him fight Joseph Parker maybe in the autumn. I think that's the next fight.
Absolutely, definitely echo that. Adam Smith, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and we look forward to August the 31st.
We do. Lomachenko Campbell, what a chance for Luke. He's a great guy. He's a terrific fighter in his own right, and he's got the opportunity of a lifetime. And we have as well, seeing Vasily Lomachenko on our shores. I urge everybody to tune in.
Thank you, Adam.